Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. Today we're actually talking comic books. Well, kind of. We're talking comic books in relation to the MCU back when Fantastic Four kind of had some of the first teases. There was a hidden QR code or a QR code and a hidden link to some free comic resources that we finally got around to reading that were various episodes of the Fantastic Four. As well as then we always have our news and rumors. So, today from the Baxter Building, I'm Peder, and joining me, as always.
Joining as always, everybody, it's the bum on Yancey Street. Greg, everyone. Thank you for coming back. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your ears. We look forward to your comments, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And if you are looking for ways to support us, you can find us on our YouTube channel. Search 10 Minute Marvel there. Give us a like and thumb smash that subscribe button, please. Thank you. Find and follow us on Facebook and that other thing with an X. Hashtag 10 Min Marvel. That's 10 Min Marvel. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. Peder, what are we going to start with today? News or rumors?
Rumors. Yes, always
Rumors.
rumors. Well, not
Oh,
always rumors, but mainly rumors.
happy
Mostly.
Father's Day, by the way.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to you as well, Greg, and to every father who is listening to this podcast, and tell your father friends to
Yeah,
listen as well.
yes, it's the fatherly thing to do.
Yes. So, first rumor. The Vision show is going to go to Madripoor, where Vision will interact with a quote-unquote human version. I'm assuming kind of synthesoid version of Ultron. This one's from Daniel RPK.
Back in Madripoor, are we? Okay.
Yeah, that surprises me a little bit.
I feel like they would stay out of there just, or maybe Sharon Carter will just get finally killed off.
Yeah. Well, I think you can completely ignore that storyline, and most people probably have forgotten about it at this point.
Right.
So,
Continue forgetting people.
yes. Then we have a bunch of Doomsday rumors here. The first off, that the main incursion is going to be between Earth 616 and the X-Men world, the one that Monica went to. I feel like the proper response to this rumor is can be summed up in a single word. Duh.
Yep. Oh, duh. Yep, duh. All right. Yeah.
Basically the same feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. I'll give it
Yep.
2 words.
Yeah. So this one's from the Cosmic Circus. Shuri is going to have a supporting role in Doomsday. Shang-Chi is going to have a big supporting role in Doomsday. And Captain America is going to be leading the team.
What?
And kind of,
He said he was not going to be leaving. Oh, wait, wrong Captain America.
yep.
Sorry. Sorry, Sam.
Yes.
I haven't forgot about you. I kind of did. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna refer to Sam Wilson as Captain America because he's Captain America.
As you should. I just
Yeah.
failed to. I just was thinking Chris Evans because he's been
Say,
denying,
yeah.
denying, denying. So
Yeah. I kind of I'm excited to have Shang-Chi in a bigger role in the
absolutely.
film.
Yeah. I it's he just deserves more at this point.
Yeah. And like Shuri is a great character, but we've seen her and she had kind of her spotlight role in
Hmm.
Black Panther 2, and then she's been very important in other films like Infinity War
Yeah.
already. So it's kind of just like, yeah, let other characters have their spotlight in kind of an ensemble film now.
Yeah. Do you, I guess behind the scenes, I know there was some issues, not issues, maybe slight tension with her during the vaccination stuff. I think she was
Yes.
a question. And so I wonder if that rubbed some people the wrong way, or if that relationship is still solid or what. And because her character is important and I want to see her continue. I just was kind of curious
I
a little bit
don't
more about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's so because I mean if it had been a big issue, I think we would have seen changes to Black Panther Wakanda Forever
Yeah,
because
that's true.
that filmed after kind of that point. So I think it did make elements of it a little bit trickier to work with, but at this point in time, I can't imagine anybody is really even thinking about it that much.
Yeah. Hoda will put her wine glass down and just be quiet again. So sorry for the gossip trail there, everybody.
Yeah. So also, this one popped up from comic book movies. Aquafina returning as Katie Chen in Doomsday. Makes
That
sense.
it does make sense, I would say. I mean, they had a good relationship, it was a good
Yeah.
on-screen thing.
And then This one, there's several different layers to it. First is the stunt double for Hugh Jackman posted something that seemed to imply that they were at the set for Doomsday. And Hugh Jackman posted a reel, I believe, or some Instagram post or something like that, with him working out, which has led to speculation that he's going to be in Doomsday.
Jack getting jacked, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
I, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he could be exercising for just
Exercising sake.
for
But yeah, the the stunt double thing is interesting. I think that that leads more credence to something
hmm
like that. Though I will also toss out a reminder here. Probably I say Doomsday every time because all the rumors say Doomsday, but they are filming Doomsday and Secret Wars at the same time,
Oh,
practically.
true.
So it could be, it could not, or it could be something where it just was like we didn't put them in the chairs because whatever reason, or it could be like no, they're not actually in Doomsday, but he'll be there during the time when people are filming Doomsday stuff because he's filming Secret Wars.
And think, I mean, the exercise regimen that he had to go through for Deadpool and Wolverine, I think was pretty insane.
Yeah.
And I know that he maybe has hinted that it was pretty hard, and I'm sure not he's not looking forward to continuing that. So
Yeah.
if they have him scheduled, I wouldn't doubt they're going to get his stuff done as
Yes.
much as they possibly can, right? So that he can maybe move on, but I'm sure he's still under contract to look buff and to be working out.
Yeah.
But like just to not have to hit it hard for the next 2 years,
Yes.
I'm sure any actor would be very thankful of that. So, and
Yes.
that's probably in their contract too.
Next rumor is from at MCU Source. I'm assuming this is on X, but I saw it shared on Facebook. Emma Frost going to be in Doomsday.
That's
Again,
cool.
yeah. I think this could also be Secret Wars. Um, but who knows?
Yeah. Who playing who would
So
they?
it was January Jones who played Emma Frost previously.
Oh, right, right, right. Okay.
I would
Cool.
assume, yeah, I'm assuming if they're talking about Doomsday or Secret Wars, it's going to be a returning actor.
Yeah. I I thought she was good.
Hmm.
And I guess it wasn't a huge role, but what she did was good.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else that she's been in that I can think off the top of my head. So
No, I'm gonna look it up for you.
cool. Thank you. Let's do that.
Um, she was in Mad Men.
Okay. It kind of
And,
sounds like a certain kind of January Jones. Like I mean,
mhm,
it's a little suspect of January. So Mad Men, that's
yep. Last Man on Earth.
oh really?
Uh, I'm
Oh,
not sure how much she was in that.
was she the girlfriend that
The one who shows back up.
well there was he so we'll call him Y because I don't remember his name. He had a
No, that you're
girlfriend.
thinking of Why the Last Man,
Oh,
not Last Man on Earth. This is the comedy with Will Forte.
yes, sorry. I did mix those up and I have not seen the other one, so never mind.
Yeah.
Still a great show I hear though.
It was fun. The little bit I watched was fun. It didn't keep my attention long term.
Yeah, one of those that maybe just nobody wanted to put money into anymore. So,
I mean, ran 66 episodes, so three
oh,
seasons.
well, how many more times can I be wrong tonight? There'll be more.
Seven or
Just
eight.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. Let's get to the last half of this podcast and let's count down.
Yeah. So then this one's from Daniel RPK that Marvel is working on a Hercules project. I'm just like, it isn't a Hercules project Thor 5?
That's what I was gonna say. So what, like a solo Hercules project? They have time and room for that? No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's got to be Thor.
Yeah. That's what my guess is. Then this one popped up recently that the DODC is going to be showing up in Wonder Man. They're going to be looking into Wonder Man.
Oh,
They'll have
interesting.
spread out from the East Coast, but makes sense.
Yeah.
You have She-Hulk on the West Coast already. They'd probably set up an office there immediately the second she shows up.
It's that show is such a mystery to me. I'm so interested to see how that pans out.
Hmm. I'm I'm still like excited for Wonder Man. I think it's going to be a really fun show.
I think it's going to be different for sure.
Yes.
Just as Agatha was that should be good. I think that's
Yeah.
great. I think it's going to be a new twist on things. It's not going to be She-Hulk. It's not going to
Hmm.
be give me another example, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday thing. It's just going to
Yeah.
find its own little
Yeah.
unique style.
Hmm. Yeah. Final rumor then is that Jeremy Allen White has been talking with Marvel about a potential X-Men role. And there are three different X-Men characters who he has been rumored potentially be talking to them. Want to guess which three they are? Or you can look
Wolverine,
in the notes. Wolverine is one.
which I'm kind of on board with.
Hmm.
I think he also could be Nightcrawler. They wouldn't do
Nope.
it. No, they wouldn't do it in Nightcrawler. Okay. How
They
about,
probably would, but
I mean, eventually it could.
yeah.
Um,
And this is for X-Men movie, not for Secret Wars or anything like that.
was it Morph?
Nope.
Okay. Archangel.
Nope.
Bad guy or good guy? Do I get a hint?
Both are good.
Both are good. Okay. Wait, you said two or three?
Three.
Okay. Not Scott Summers.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Cyclops is one of them.
I mean, I kind of like that at the same time.
Hmm.
Uh, Physique, I don't know. Like, no, it could work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
Scott
I think
Summers
so.
is not a super huge imposing guy
Yeah.
necessarily.
I see the confidence in his like. Yeah, I can see it.
Hmm.
I'd be okay with that.
And the final one is Beast.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that one.
I could see it just kind of and this is it from a little bit more like, I think you could transpose a lot of his look onto Beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not, s- I think probably acting wise, he'd be better for the other two.
I'm for Iceman. Let's do Iceman.
I would love to have a good Iceman,
Hmm.
not the one we got in the Fox stuff.
Oh, he wasn't that bad.
No, he's mainly just kind of very forgettable.
I think they made him forgettable.
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know. I loved Iceman as a kid. I don't know why,
Mhm.
but
They also got the wrong Ashmore brother to play him, so.
yeah, he made a very nice hand ice rose though. He did a good job with
Mhm.
that.
So that's it for rumors. On to the news. Eyes of Wakanda, with its 4 episodes, each is going to be about 30 minutes. Do you think they do a weekly drop, or do you think they do like a drop everything at once?
I need to know when is this coming out again? We got
August 6th
okay. August 6th. Next movie after that,
is,
2026 now.
yep, 2026, Spider-Man.
Okay. So they're gonna do weekly. They have to fill some time.
Well, but the thing is, do they have to fill time now? Because you would have that drop, and then in late September you would have Marvel Zombies drop, and
Oh,
then
because there's
December you
another
have
show.
Wonder Man drop. So
Mm. I don't know. Drop the first two, then release the second two at a different, like the next
the
week,
next
do
week,
two and two.
that's kind of what I want, I think, because I feel like one is going to feel really light for a drop of like 30-minute animated show that with characters that we don't know, especially since it's supposed to be kind of an anthology show.
Yeah.
So give us kind of that history.
What about one a week? Or like, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That could be interesting. Um, I think I'd prefer two and two or all four at once, but I could see the kind
The
of
weekly.
running, yeah,
I
the
mean, the daily.
daily. Yeah, I can see that working too.
Yeah. Kind of bummed it's only half hour. A good
Hmm.
45 minutes would have been nice, but that's not what they're doing. So,
Yep.
okay.
And I mean, with the animation style, I have to imagine that that would have gotten pretty spendy pretty fast.
Yeah, that is true. Extra, I mean, each going another 15 minutes, that's like, I don't know, $1 million.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have no
Yeah,
idea actually, but
I mean, well, an extra 15 minutes each is you're adding an extra third.
yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so I put this up in the news. It's tech because it's not really a rumor or anything like that, but Dominic Thorne was asked in an interview basically like, "Oh, are we going to see your character again I'm not sure the precise question that was asked, if it was like, are we going to see your character in Doomsday or something like that? And she was like, yeah, we'll see. I might be showing up sooner than you think. So that's like the most non-committal. Well, it's like the teases something but also doesn't promise anything answer.
Yeah, yeah. I
Who
wonder if
knows?
they give them like, here is the five things you can say, and then they just decide which one of those five things they are going to say.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah. I'm sure they get coached on
Oh yeah.
like the here are the things that you can talk about.
Could you imagine like you get paid, like somebody pays you, coach you on what to say in a press release to or whatever. Just
Mhm. And then it turns out that you're Tom Holland or Mark Ruffalo, and it doesn't stick anyways.
yeah. Just spill the beans anyways.
Mhm. Final thing, the new teaser for Ironheart. And I liked that teaser a lot. I thought it was a really solid teaser.
Yeah. Okay, this came out after we talked about it last week, right? We
After
only
we
talked
talked about
about
the little clip,
the
yeah.
clip. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely it was good. It was good, I'll
Mhm.
say. Um
I
I'm
liked
s Go ahead.
I was gonna say I liked that they kind of the idea of like, okay, break yourself down and put yourself back together to realize, like, figure out who you really are. That kind of conversation that she was having with her friend, and I thought we got to see more from, well, we got to see more with the suit and the magic that is part of the suit, which I was just like, that is a twist I didn't see coming, and I'm really excited to see how they mix all of that together.
Yeah, it it definitely was something I did not see coming.
Hmm.
I did not think they would infuse them. That's what I'm assuming is happening here because
Yeah.
that's what it really appears to be. So I think it's you get the little hint of also her AI, right, which is her
Yes.
friend,
Hmm.
as you'd said, and I think I'm happy they're doing that. I'm curious to see like when that happens because it
Hmm.
looks like that she's there in real life, like she's
Yeah.
present, and then something must happen, and then we have her as an AI. So if
No,
that's no, you don't.
no. Um, she is an AI, but she just, as compared to like Tony Stark's AIs, which are just kind of the voice in his
Oh,
ear, she has a holographic manifestation.
oh, so she's a woman in the chair as an AI.
Yes.
So she's still alive, but just
N no,
no.
she's just an AI.
But I swear, like I saw, like she looked like she was. It wasn't like an hologram. It was like she was
It's I'm not sure about the precise
a
technology,
flashback,
but
maybe.
yeah. But
Okay,
I don't believe that I think it's always just the AI.
okay.
Like there is no friend. This is something that she's created.
I was gonna say if you're gonna squeeze that in as well, that's a lot to jam, like a death of a
Yeah.
friend, So
Yeah.
okay, then all right, I take
Mhm.
that back.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, and we're going to talk about Ironheart all next episode. Well, that'll be our main topic for next week since it's coming out here.
When does it come out?
Uh, Next week. Not this upcoming week, but the following one on the 24th.
Okay,
So we'll do our kind of theories and predictions for the show next podcast episode.
all right. And we can't talk about any more because I don't have that many, so I need to
Mhm.
save them.
Yes. Uh, let's move on to the main topic then,
All right.
where we read Fantastic Four #1, Fantastic Four 48 through 50, and Fantastic Four, I'm blanking on the subtitle,
Life story.
Life Story #1.
Hmm.
So just a reminder, there was a QR code that took you to this 404 page, or there was some link that took you to this 404 page for the Future Foundation with Herbie on it, and then there was either a hidden link or I forget what it was. Maybe that's where the QR code was, but that took you to a web page where you could download or you could read these 5 comics. So Greg and I were like, yeah, it's a good thing to talk about is what are these comics and how they may tie into the Fantastic Four first steps. Let's kick it off with Fantastic Four #1, which had some really fun elements to it. I think it's probably the one that is going to tie the least into this film, but I think it was like, hey, here's the introduction of the Fantastic Four. Turns out the
Hmm.
introduction of the Fantastic Four is they're all scattered across New York, and Reed sends up the Fantastic Four signal. It's hilarious.
I just want, was the bat signal already a thing at that time? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I wonder, like,
Yeah,
but
I don't. I'm assuming so, but I don't know for sure.
it was really an interesting read just to be in the, reading what Stan had wrote. I think he was a writer at that time, right?
Yeah,
Right. So like you for this issue specifically. And it was, I mean, we've come a long way, people. I was just gonna tell you that. Like when I read and Sue said, "Don't say it, Reed. I'm your fiance. I'm your fiance. Where you go, I go." It's like, I mean,
to space.
yeah, like I'm just gonna I will be in that rocket ship with you because we are
Yeah.
married.
We're not
Uh
even married. We're engaged.
Yeah, fiance, right? It was fiance. So, and then Johnny's like, and I'm tagging along with sis, so it's settled. Like,
Yeah,
why, Johnny? Why do you like? What is this relationship with your sister? I guess that you have must be
yeah.
a good one. And so it was very much
It's
of
old.
a different era, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which was fun to read. It was,
Hmm.
it was a fun read. I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you, but yes, it's not going to really tie in. I don't think.
No. There was Mole Man in
Yep.
there. So, sure. I think it's probably safe to say that we'll get Mole Man. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Um,
they're not going to go beat for beat plot wise. That'd be
no.
hilarious though if they did. Of like, all right, the event has already occurred, and here's the Fantastic Four starting moment.
Yeah.
And it's the trailer scene where we see the thing running through all those columns on a
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
That's just him running to the signal.
It's and Mole Man, like, it's so funny how he breaks down like how he got there. Like he's just monologuing, right? Just going through and explaining all that he can do. And he's like, look at me, I can do this. And which was necessary because I get, it's a new character and all that, but
Yep.
it's very much what I think readers at this point in time do not want anymore. But it was still fun to read.
Yeah.
I say we move on to issue 48 because
Yeah, and we'll talk 48 through 50 kind of as a clump because it's a whole arc.
yeah,
Like this is the introduction of Galactus and them having to deal with Galactus with some extra stuff thrown in, like Johnny heading off to college.
yeah, right. That
It
was
was, they spent the last few pages of episode or issue 50 setting up their next like story beat. It was
yeah,
like, why?
yeah, and that's where I was like trying to finish off, 50, and I wanted to move on to the life story episode one, and it just kept going, and even like I think Stan wrote, there's a dialogue box where it's just like, bear with us, we're a little bit more to go here, kind of thing, and it was basically like we're trying to set up the next issue, so here it is, Johnny, and it's way at the end, right? So Johnny is like going to college, and there's a guy that in the dean's office with, and he spaces out when the dean is explaining who this person is, and
Yeah,
it's something like the football team is not doing well, and because their quarterback is being a jackass, and I don't know, it's like just
it's something.
it's some sort of setup, right? Um, but I think at the be in issue 48, you start seeing the marital issues, right?
Hmm.
That happened between Sue and Reed, and you see Sue really like kind of going, "Hey, what? I'm right here. Like, what?
You're
You're
so obsessed
yeah,
with whatever problem you're working on currently, like you're forgetting about your wife.
yeah." And so I really hope that they do that
Hmm.
in the movie. No, I think it's interesting that we will they in these issues they're not bringing up Franklin at all, right? So
No,
there's
Franklin
no
comes much later in the comics.
right. So I think it's interesting that how that maybe we'll do that if we'll start. I wouldn't mind actually seeing kind of in the end of this movie they start having more troubles, marital troubles,
Hmm.
and even the Fantastic Four breaking apart a little bit.
Yeah,
I just-
yeah.
so I'm curious to see if they take that route or not. for
It
like
does.
a second Fantastic Four movie after this, whenever that would be.
I will say I don't think it's super likely, but I think it would be interesting, and I think we are going to see some of those moments where Sue is having to pull Reed back from kind of the brink of his research and
Hmm.
his obsession with that, and be like, no, uh, I think that's why they have dinner as a family Sundays at 7 is to like guarantee they all get time together because otherwise Reed will be off in his own world.
So maybe it's something that they've already kind of gone through, you're
Yeah,
thinking? Like it's and so they're
potentially.
kind of trying to mend it, right? Because
Hmm.
if they're gonna have a child, they obviously cannot be in feelings of marital jeopardy or
Yeah,
any sort of distaste or what's the word I'm looking for? Sue can't be frustrated with what's happening with Reed to the point where
yeah, it can't be
so
falling apart. Or,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be like, all right, it's falling apart, but don't worry, this kid's gonna fix it for us. But I don't think they're gonna do that
Nah,
much of a storyline.
yeah, yeah. So um the Watcher's
They
interesting. Oh, did you
Mhm.
have something else to
They,
say?
no, I was going to say the Watcher next because the Watcher shows up consistently throughout this story. In fact, like he's one of the key players in
Yeah.
defeating Galactus.
Yeah. So in the comic, right, yeah, he shows up, kind of just like appears. And it seems like Reed has talked to him
Yes.
and so it's not the first time that Reed has seen him, but and they all kind of know who he was.
Yep.
But the Watcher's kind of at that point where he's going to break his own rules
Hmm.
in for what his job is, right? His
Yeah.
galactic
Well,
job.
he is and isn't breaking his
True.
rules. He's trying to get around it as much as possible. Like he's hiding Earth. He's not like sending the Silver Surfer away from Earth,
Hmm.
but he's trying to obscure Earth so maybe the Silver Surfer will pass on by.
And so that makes me wonder, in the trailer, we see the Silver Surfer, we see her kind of go through that cloud, that red,
Hmm.
it's like a it's like a lava cloud. It seems like I
Yeah.
don't know how else to describe it. I wonder if that's actually the Watcher covering up Earth, their Earth,
Yeah. Could be.
maybe.
Hmm.
It's either that or it's
Another world.
or, or I was gonna say like Galactus like consuming maybe,
Yeah.
or I don't know, because that was kind of another thing. He could pulse out some sort of beam and basically start killing off everything. But or like pulling in their like I can't remember what they it's consuming the energy of the planet basically.
Yeah.
So um yeah, I think it's interesting that I feel like we're going to maybe see the Watcher, and maybe that's one of the hidden things that it's going to be. So hopefully, I'm not obviously ruining that, but at the same
Well,
time,
but this
that's why
is
we're
ours.
here.
Yeah, this is us speculating based off of the comics that are read. If we get
Correct.
anything right, it's only because we read the comics and you could have read them too. They were free.
Yeah,
So this is not something Marvel is hiding.
it just
That,
right. I just it just kind of like we're seeing things in the comic and pulling it out and be like, oh, this kind of makes sense for what we have
yes,
seen in the trailer.
yes.
So I think that the Watcher is gonna appear because what we know of him from the last episode of What If, he's definitely kind of just favoritism a little bit with
Yes.
our humanity and Earth and whatnot. So I think that's gonna maybe be a thing and he'll try and save us in a way or do what he can.
Hmm.
So I think that might be something we'll see.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it doesn't work. The Silver Surfer flies through the asteroid cloud or whatever it
Hmm.
was that the Watcher had projected around Earth and declares that Galactus is coming.
Hmm. So I wonder, so at this point, the Silver Surfer comes down, right? Starts kind of giving the fair warning,
Yep,
and but it kind of goes toe to toe, I think, with the thing with Ben.
yep.
Say, oh, so I wonder if Alicia Masters and Silver Surfer, well, that would be weird. Like
I,
where
yeah,
did we lose each other? I know we cut out for a second.
kind of like you basically were like, and that the thing clobbers him. That's
Yeah.
where we,
Oh, sure. That's where it was. Okay. So Collaborism, but we have also Silver Surfer finding Alicia Masters, right? That's her
yes,
name. I
yes.
was okay. Right when I said, "Is that her name?" you were like frozen. So I I wonder if there's going to be a humanity check at that point if we're going to see
Hmm.
that interaction. I'm kind of feeling like I don't. I'm scared that what I read is going to be it's going to be really close to what they do in the movie
Hmm.
because it just seems like
I,
there's lots of things that could pair up that are
I,
making sense.
I mean, yes, but I do think it is going. I think there's going to be a fair amount of difference as well. And as we get to and talk about the, I'm still blanking on the subtitle,
Life story.
life story, like the difference in life story versus the what was in the these three issues. So it gives us a couple different things to think about there, and I'm sure it's going to do its own thing as well beyond that. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get the same sort of Alicia Masters thing with the Silver Surfer necessarily, or it could maybe be something slightly different because it seems like the Thing hasn't met Alicia in the trailers so much because he's still kind of we're mainly seeing kind of the mopey Thing.
Right.
So I'm wondering, it could be a situation where the surfer meets Alicia Masters and then Alicia comes with the Silver Surfer to basically be like, to vouch for the Silver Surfer's change. Like the Silver Surfer recognizes, like, why would you believe us or believe me if, based off of everything I've done, but Alicia comes and vouches for it, and that's when Ben meets Alicia Masters, who likes kind of his maybe he's the first to accept that the surfer actually has had the change of heart. And so she appreciates and likes him for that. Kind of
Mm,
that's as a starting
yeah.
point for a relationship.
Yeah. Because we don't know that we also don't know if anybody's playing Alicia Masters yet, right?
Correct. We still have the unknown role for,
Natasha Leon,
yep, Natasha Lyonne.
Birdie
Yep.
slash who knows, Herbie.
Yeah.
No,
And
not Herbie. We know it's not Herbie.
right. Uh, there's been assumptions or there have been rumors of Alicia Masters, especially with your favorite actor. There's been rumors of him potentially playing Puppet Master,
Are you speaking of John
Cusack.
Cusack? Holy crap. I was thinking of another John and I was gonna say John Cusack. That's weird.
Of
I was couldn't I was like trying to pull his last name out of my brain. Um,
course, we
okay.
are talking of the ever popular John Malkovich.
The person I can seem to remember ever,
Yeah.
along with John Cusack.
If your name is John, Greg won't remember your last name.
It's it's true. So I would like to say that just gonna skip ahead here a little bit. On issue 49, it's actually called If This Be Doomsday. That is the
Yep.
actual title of that one, which I was like, okay. Um
That's,
it,
yeah. That's its own thing. It's like
it,
Doomsday is its own event outside of Doctor Doom. So,
but if you continue on in the life story, I know they didn't say that it was only issue number one, but
yeah,
if
that they
you
gave you
get
access to.
yeah, right. So, Doom does show up in the later
Yeah.
decades of that story. So, and he's there basically trying to use Galactus
Yes. Yep.
to do it. So, it makes me kind of wonder, is that where Doom would come into this Fantastic Four movie? It's a potential, right? But
Yeah. Yep.
um, obviously we've talked about this and we'd rather have him stay out and maybe just stay in a post-credit scene, but I could see, I don't know, maybe it is a post-credit scene. Maybe Galactus, well,
Maybe they trick Galactus somehow away from Earth, and when Galactus is heading out into space again, Doom shows up and captures him,
yeah,
or like
right.
siphons his power somehow.
Yeah. I said there's slight coincidence there with the title of that one, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
not feeding into it too much.
Hmm. And then, I mean, really hopping ahead to issue 50, they have to deal with the problem. Is there anything else
Uh,
from those previous two that's
I
worth mentioning, really? I feel
no,
like I feel like the big beats are, ah, Silver Surfer shows up. All right, Galactus shows up. We try and punch Galactus. That doesn't work.
yeah. The Watcher's like, you need to go do something now. But in the meantime, Silver Surfer's just talking to Alicia Masters, and
Yep.
it's
Let me send Johnny somewhere because he's the one who can survive and do this. Where are you
yeah.
sending him? Far away. All right, what does far away look like? We're never going to show it in panels.
Yeah. Why
He's getting
why
the
did he have to be
MacGuffin,
yeah.
and
Why
we're
couldn't they tell
just
him? Why couldn't they tell everybody else
why
about
couldn't
what
yeah, and why couldn't they show any of it in a visual medium? Like
oh
this again is the old comic book style writing where most of the time comic books didn't have arcs. They didn't have
yeah.
that. It was like, okay, here's the last 2 pages of this issue set up what's happening next issue. But if you just read next issue, it's going to be a fully contained story,
Yeah.
sort
It
of
was
thing.
very much jumping to the beats of things rather than that
Yep.
interpersonal communications and
Hmm.
and just the connection between other characters so much. That's not what it was feeding into. It was trying to get to the beats of the excitement stuff a lot of the
Yep.
time. So,
Yeah, and I mean, like if we were to have a new Fantastic Four created right now, and this exact storyline happened, I would guess 6 to 9 issues for the whole story arc would be kind of what they
mm,
would make it into, and they would show Johnny's adventures
mhm.
and some crazy stuff that he has to deal with, and that would be a full issue.
Yeah.
But Johnny has to go get the ultimate nullifier
Yep.
and they threaten Galactus with it. Or really, they are like, hey, you leave Earth alone, we'll give you this. Like, we won't
Yeah.
use this on you. Yeah.
They shoot Johnny to like the way on the other side of the galaxy, right? Somehow, I
Yep.
don't know, whatever. And then,
The Watcher does it.
yep, the Watcher does it. And so when he comes back, it's got the ultimate nullifier stuck in his belt, which looks to be just one trigger device. I don't know how he didn't push that,
Yep.
but I mean, whoops, I don't know. Johnny gets back. He looks like he just got off a bad like drug trip, and his mind is just like blown, right? Because he just went
Yep.
through space and time, and I don't know. I guess time dilation doesn't work at that time, but yeah. And then they threaten Galactus, and Galactus is like, "All right, okay,
Yep.
I see
But,
you."
hmm And it's important to note, too, that while Johnny's gone, the Silver Surfer has been fighting Galactus to kind of slow down Galactus
Yep.
since the Fantastic Four can't stop him fast enough.
Yeah, they put him in like an energy field of some kind or something like that, and then Ben decides to just punch it, right? Or something like
Mhm.
that.
Ben breaks part of the machine that is going to turn Earth into energy.
I mean, come
And
on,
then
dude.
it's like, okay, I mean, it slowed him down more than anything else did.
Right. And it's like when Star-Lord decides to like what do you with Thanos? Like he's what do you do? Because he's like I feel like you remember like they're trying to get the glove off of Thanos.
Yeah.
Star-Lord is there, he's holding his blaster at him or whatever, and he kind of ends up messing up the whole thing because Thanos is kind of saying, well, I killed Gamora, so
Well,
you
he
know,
he just yeah, they know that Gamora was with Thanos and yeah, Star-Lord
right?
freaks out, but
It kind of ruins
yeah.
the whole thing. It kind
Yeah.
of, and that's exactly what Ben kind of just did, I would say.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
gotta have drama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was necessary what Ben did to slow down Galactus from being able to turn on his machine. And apparently, the first thing the machine does is turn all the water into energy. And so all the fish food in the oceans would die.
Like, can you just stop being so punchy for a second there, Ben?
Yeah.
So wraps up really with Galactus going, okay, Silver Surfer basically also comes in, convinces Galactus in a sense to leave him alone, right?
Kind of. The ultimate nullifier is kind of the big thing
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
true.
Galactus or Silver Surfer speaks to it a little bit, and actually, the Galactus releases the Silver Surfer from his duty at that
Yeah,
point too,
yeah.
of being the Herald of Galactus. So then Johnny
Um,
goes to college,
And
but
then, and then, yeah, he's college bound, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. It's a really weird transition into a coach and
yeah, it
a
was
quarterback.
just straight to a college football practice.
Yeah.
with like just a hard cut.
I thought I actually skipped some pages. I was like,
Nope.
what just happened? Did I fall asleep and like hit the tablet a couple times, right? On the wrong side. So that's what we had already talked about. He
Yeah,
goes to college.
that's
We
completely irrelevant to first steps.
Yeah, right.
Let's
Um,
then talk life story volume or like issue one. So life story comic, if you're not familiar with it, it's I think it's a way that Marvel has tried to condense and kind of recreate and simplify understanding of characters for people who haven't been reading since the 1950s.
mhm,
There's not many people left who have been reading since the 1950s at this point, but or the people who haven't maybe kept up or like done the research of like, all right, what does Comics Explained tell me about the first 30 years of, or 40 or 50 years, I guess 50 years at this point in time of Fantastic Four.
yeah, it's a nice cheat sheet sort of, or like a
Yeah. Well,
uh
and it twists it too, because it's not the same Galactus story.
yeah,
So like we get the 1960s. A lot of the beats are pretty similar. Of okay, their project to go up into space is going to be getting canceled, so they decide to just do it anyways. Turns out that the shielding wasn't enough. They get their powers, but the interesting twist on it this time is that up in space, Reed sees something. Reed sees Galactus, this devouring beast, or behemoth, or whatever you want to call Galactus,
hmm,
this force that can't be stopped. And it haunts him. Like that's where he then in this comic becomes kind of obsessed with trying to figure out what it was and what it means. And that's what's putting stress and tension on his relationship with Sue.
right.
And then I actually think I think that element is actually going to play a fair amount into this film. That Reed
Yes.
is going to see something up there the first time they go up there. I think they go up there, and I think when we see the planet being destroyed and the ship, that is the first time they were in space. And that is Galactus devouring a planet, and maybe they even twitch or switch it up from like this cosmic radiation to they were in proximity to Galactus when he destroyed and ate the energy of a world, and that's what gives them their powers. And Galactus isn't really worried about their powers as they stand. They're just like they're small fries, but when two of them who have some power related to Galactus are going to have a kid, that kid is going to be more powerful and be a threat to Galactus.
Hmm.
And that's what brings the Silver Surfer and Galactus and their attention to Earth.
Interesting theory.
I think I nailed it.
Nailed it. Um,
I will do a video on that theory because
get it out there.
yeah, it feels interesting to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it makes me also kind of curious whether they're going to dive into the Ben Grimm side of it as well, because I
Hmm.
know that there was a little bit of tension between Reed and Ben, but
Yeah.
that that seems like it's, I mean, why not? You could definitely hint at it. I just you don't want to overload the story either, too.
Yeah.
But I think again, having it play out, if you want to do another Fantastic Four, get it to the point where there's a lot of tension in the family, right?
Hmm.
That's a part of family as well.
Yeah. Now, I do think they're going to do another Fantastic Four. However, it's coming after Secret Wars, so it feels like everything is going to be a little bit of a reset at that
Yeah.
point. Um, I do think they'll probably hint and talk about it and talk about how, or like it will be part of the maybe some flashback type stuff that we get, where like Ben clearly isn't adjusted to being the thing yet fully. Like he still
Mhm.
feels like an outsider because he looks different. We see that in the trailers. So I think we're going to see some of that initial like explosion between the two. But by the time we get to the Fantastic Four in their current timeline, that's going to have been mended or dealt with, at least to a fair amount.
Yeah. It does seem like when you have Secret Wars in after this and they're kind of that reset, that Ben Grimm tension with Reed kind of thing kind of falls a little flat.
Yeah,
But so I mean so it's a lot of that's kind of what the issue number one's really kind of comes down to, I think, is
yeah,
just the beginnings of some marital issues, Reed's obsession,
yep. It,
the preparation for Galactus, right?
mhm.
So
Well,
idealism
figuring
versus
out what it even is. It's like there's some preparation for Galactus, but it's like I saw this, I know I saw this. People aren't like fully believing Reed, and so they go back up into space. This is kind of where the drama comes in. There's a scientist who pretends to be Ben, who goes up into space with them, and it's like, yeah, that scientist is like, oh no, it's actually true. But that is more work than they're going to be doing, I would bet
yeah.
for it.
Is that the scientist in issue one that
Of
is Matt? Yeah,
yeah,
life story that's kind of
yep,
like, hey, the president, I think JFK in this
yes,
in this story is like, Reed,
1960s, yep.
Reed, I'm gonna have you, build us two spaceships, right? And which, hey, there's your two spaceships, right? The one that we might see in that we saw in Thunderbolts.
Hmm.
So and this other scientist kind of got slighted. He's going to be in control. He's in charge of the
He's
ground control part of it. So
yeah,
he's maybe it's that character that they're going to use. Maybe, I
yeah.
don't.
I think that could be an interesting character to use as a bad guy for
Maybe
it, like
it's
a more
Malkovich.
yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking. Like John Malkovich would make sense to be
Mhm.
that villain. And I mean, we saw a trailer image of John Malkovich where he has long hair and looks kind of crazy.
Yeah,
But who knows? Like that he could just be like the scientist who has poured his life work into this idea of going to space, and then he's not getting it done fast enough. So JFK or whomever, whomever's the president in that timeline,
Ritson.
yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, President Ritson, grandfather,
Yeah,
um,
great, great.
basically is like, oh, well, no, we have another young scientist who says he can get it done faster. We're going
Yeah,
to go with him,
this
sort of
this
thing.
this whippersnapper seems like he can really
Hmm.
do it well. Um,
It'd be a chance to then have like a human character when the events of like the Silver Surfer showing up come, and that happens. You would have a human character who could then start to try and turn humanity against the Fantastic Four.
Interesting. So that is only issue number one, right? In the
Right.
60s, we got issue two for the 70s, issue three for the 80s,
Hmm.
90s, and goes into the 2000s.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting is that they do take it into the last kind of years of Reed. So I didn't get to read all of them.
Right.
So
Well,
I was telling Petter that I'm interested in going through the rest and finishing this
same.
out.
And I didn't read all of them yet either. Just some is a matter of time, and some is they were not part of the free
Right.
one. It was just issue number one of this run
Yeah.
that was part of the what was made available to people.
Hmm.
So I think, well, there's a whole lot more you could dig into there, and I do think we'll probably see some of that maybe get dug into more in future Fantastic Four. I don't know that they're going to go much beyond probably some ideas about Reed has a premonition that Galactus is coming, and he's obsessed with that. But maybe in the 3 years since they got their powers, he starts to believe, like, ah, no, maybe it was a little bit more of a fairy tale. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw, and lets his guard down. And then the Silver Surfer shows up when they're expecting the kid.
Yeah. Now, the movie is talked about the Future Foundation, so we
Hmm.
know and that is not anywhere in
No.
these stories. So in these comics. So again, it's little bits of these issues, and obviously they're going to tie in a lot other
Yes.
aspects too. So
Hmm.
my worries of reading these and feeling like I'm seeing a lot of what the movie's going to be, that's just usually me being nervous about not wanting the movie ruined for me. But I think there's going to be plenty, like you'd said, Peder, where it's gonna there's gonna be plenty more that they're gonna add in that's gonna make it
Yes.
exciting. So
Yep.
at least I hope.
I'm very confident on it, but I'm excited. I'm very
Hmm.
excited for this. And
Me too.
we'll be talking about it more when it comes down to it at the very end there, the week before. So just just over a month away, Greg. It's not long.
I don't know. It's life goes by so fast these days. Anytime the
Yeah.
movie comes out, you're gonna hear me on this podcast say, seriously, it's almost time. Kind of like it was with Thunderbolts. Like all of a sudden it was like, hey, next week we're going. I was like, oh, really? Hey Greg, it was your birthday not too long ago. Oh, it was. Okay. I didn't know that. That's kind of my life at this
Yeah.
point. But
That's fair. I forget your birthday too.
yeah, well, it's it's forgettable.
Hmm. If there's not a Marvel movie coming out on the day, why do I care?
I mean, I don't.
This year, I get a Marvel show on my birthday.
Ah,
So,
well, they've stolen it from me, so
mhm.
I'll I'll celebrate with it.
All right. So let us know your thoughts. Have you read these Fantastic Four comics? Drop that down in the comment section below, where you find this podcast over on YouTube, or leave a comment on X with hashtag 10MinMarvel, or on the Facebook page where you can search for a 10-Minute Marvel there. With that, Greg, you have a few ways you can help support the podcast at the beginning. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Months and Meeples YouTube channel, 10-Minute Marvel YouTube channel, and nerdologists.com website. But with that, see you next time.
Take care, everybody.